Recording in progress.
Oh, hello. Hi, Whitney. I'm so excited. Let me get my notes up so I can give you a really proper introduction. I'm so thrilled for our next segment. Whitney Freya has been a trailblazer in the soulful art orbit since 1996. She has 4 published books on new paradigm creativity. Her latest is called 30 Days to Unstoppable, Be the Dream Made Visible. Her online certification training has created over 500 creatively fit coaches worldwide. Can I get a what? A community united in their commitment to awakening the creative spirits within as many people as possible. She hosts in-person retreats and trainings for women entrepreneurs, including her Women's Synergy Collective. And she's got a whole website. We're going to get you connected to all of that. Whitney, Freya, I'm so glad that you're here. It's delightful to meet you. I've not met you before, so this is super exciting for me.
Yeah, just listening to the first segment, Emmy, thank you for that activation. I was like, oh, how have I not met Anne before? I feel like we are sisters or something,
Yeah.
yes, I'm
Yeah,
so thrilled to
totally.
be in your circle.
Yeah, we're just so delighted that you're here. So, okay, so I'm a coach and a healer, but not a lot of people know that I went to art school and I actually have an art degree. But that said, I still have a creativity wound around certain aspects of creativity. And I think we're going to be talking about that today. So I just wanted to preface that this is something that's really near and dear to my heart is talking about creativity. And that, and I know like so many people are like, oh, you're so creative. I'm not creative. And it's like, no, humans create. It's what we do. It's literally what we do. We create, whether that's a meal, a relationship, a job, a business, a canvas, whatever. So I want to know from you what role creativity plays in what we're talking about today, living our soul purpose.
Well, the role it plays is like, imagine your soul purpose, the container, right, that you've been given to experience and live out your soul purpose. Imagine it's whatever your dream car would be. And that car is parked outside your window right now. If it doesn't have creativity, it's like it's on empty. There's no fuel in the tank. It's a beautiful container, can't go anywhere. That's literally the role creativity plays in your life every single day. It is like breath. The reason we don't understand that, or, up until now, is that the old story around creativity, the old paradigm story around creativity is completely defined and, boxed in by a capitalistic, Western product oriented story, which I mean is fine. It's just out of date. And so I'd imagine, so like I opened my art center in 96 with zero art training. Like I
Right.
had been a total wannabe my whole life, didn't think I'd inherited that DNA, was super vocal about it, freaked out my friends at my 20th high school reunion who I hadn't seen in 20 years. They're like, you do what? Because even 20 years later, they remember me being like, oh, I wish I could paint or draw, but I can't. And art school, like I've worked with so many people who went to art school and they were wounded from art school because art school
Totally.
is this, some people have talent, some people don't, and whatever, it's all good, but just understand that there is this old story around creativity that most of us were raised with.
Yeah.
And that's where the I'm not creative, I can't even draw a straight line comes from. And then where we are right now, as we all know, and Emmy pointed out again, we're in this incredible transition phase where every layer of our lives is crying out for change. And change means we have to journey into the unknown, tap into what's possible and create it into this reality. So if we've got this collective, I'm not creative going on,
Mhm.
ah, it's going to be like trying to paddle up the river. We
Right.
can't do it.
Right.
So for each of us, it begins with just understanding and opening up to, okay, I want to develop a new relationship to my creative self. and creativity only knows hope, only knows possibility. In his book, Creativity, Matthew Fox says that it's impossible to be creative and depressed at the same time.
Mm.
And that's because creativity
Yeah.
only knows hope. And creativity recognizes like the power of the shadow. So I've been talking a lot about shadow lately. I have a new training, the Unstoppable Dream Recovery Coach training, which is all about honoring our underworld journeys.
Great.
And it's in our underworld journeys, and the underworld journeys are where it feels like we're off track. It feels like we're, not in our power. It feels like shame and guilt. It feels like I don't want anyone to know about this. For me, it was a marriage. I remember thinking like, wow, if my creatively fit coaches had a little camera and they saw me, moving around my house, they would be like,
Right.
who is that? Right. I didn't know what to do with that for a long time. And so for me, the emerging from that underworld journey, what it took to leave was where I took back my power. And so it's like we can't take back power until we've given it away.
Mm.
So where we give it away is the shadow and the underworld. And we do that so that we can take it back. I
Oh,
remember
powerful.
hearing there's a Hannah Gadsby special on Netflix called Nanette, and her punchline, and I'm not giving it away, I highly recommend watching it, but the punchline was, there is nothing stronger than a broken woman who's rebuilt herself.
Ooh.
Right?
Can you
Chills every
let's say that
time.
again. Let's say that out loud again.
Yeah, there is nothing stronger than a broken woman who's rebuilt herself. Or you can
Uh-huh.
say recreated herself.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is, you are creating your life experience in each and every moment.
Yeah.
Every moment. The only question is if we're doing it with or without awareness.
Right.
And this is from the Four Agreements, Don
Right.
Miguel Ruiz. I read that again, like years into my, professional journey. And I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
no wonder I'm doing what I'm doing. Because trust me, I've tried to get away from the painting. Like I've tried to get away from, convincing people to paint, because it gets kind of exhausting, that I'm not creative. I can't even draw a straight line.
Yeah.
You're so creative. You're so powerful. And there are no victims here. Like, we chose this. When I first heard that, there's nothing stronger than a broken woman who's rebuilt herself, I got angry. I got
Mm-hmm.
angry at the people that I felt had broken me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
painting. So that's what I do. When I get triggered, when I get upset, I go to the canvas or the art journal. And I ended up finishing a painting of a woman, kind of a tribal looking woman that I'd started in Greece as part of my watercolor program. And there was a part of her dress that was started with just this very loose beginning. I just kind of spilled the water in the paint. And so there was this train of her dress that I assumed would be the train. And then I realized that it was a snake. And
Mm-hmm.
snakes are all about feminine energy, right? Eve and the
Mm-hmm.
snake are blamed for the fall of man. So the snake and women are like buddies, actually. And so I'm turning it into a snake and thinking about shedding our skin, and learning and growing and expanding. And then the snake, I look at it and I'm like, it looked just like a penis. I Then I got angry again. I'm like, what the hell is a penis doing in this painting? Like, because I was thinking of the men. And then I realized I got this, and this is why I get so excited about encouraging you all to open up to this creative practice, because we process things on such a deeper level when we take the time and invite in symbols and imagery. I realized, if there's nothing stronger than a broken woman who's rebuilt herself, and if I wanted to be at my strongest
Mm-hmm.
in this period of time where the feminine is the energy that needs to rise, I would choose to be broken.
Mm.
So those men are my allies.
Mm.
Like, that changed everything, everything,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the invitation. I mean, there's so much here, right? Like,
Uh,
Thing I've already heard on the screen. I'm like, wow, 30 minutes. Okay.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I know. We're gonna do a part two, don't worry. You and I
right.
will do a part two one of these days soon.
But what I've realized, my intention for you all in my time with you is for you to receive a symbol that will support you, whether it's today with your intention to experience your Phoenix soul rising, because these symbols and imagery are actually closer to our subconscious. So
Mhm.
they go closer to like the heart of what it is that is you're wanting to expand into, or the part of you that's wanting to be liberated. It helps you to understand things. And so I want to share a painting first
Oh, great.
that I did the other day in a Zoom with my Tara course. And we were working with dark red destroying Tara. And Tara, green Tara, has 21 aspects. The feminine is teaching us, this divine feminine and Tara are teaching us more of who we are and our superpowers. It's different than like Superman, right? Faster than
Mhm.
a bullet, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Women have a whole different set of superpowers. And so we were painting our dark red destroying Tara, who helps us fight our demons. Demons is a very strong word, right?
Yeah.
The demons is referring to the voices in your head, right?
Mhm.
The inner critic, the perfectionist, the one that's telling you you're not good enough. You're, we all know those voices. So this is, me or us or whatever. And then I started painting these little dark figures, and they did have wings, and that just happened. That was the first thing I drew, was the wings. And then I drew this other one that's actually the darkest, right?
Yeah.
And just spontaneously, I painted this little halo around its head. There's no thought, right?
Yeah.
I painted the halo, and I'm like, okay, these demons are waiting to be liberated by us, to get their wings. They're angels in disguise. They're there, and they're with us, and they're in our mind and our awareness to give us the opportunity to turn and face them from love, from a perspective of like, okay, I know you're here to help me. Talk to me, right?
Mhm.
Instead of like, I'm gonna ignore that inner self-talk. Okay, inner critic, what are you trying to do? What is your message?
Mhm.
And when we turn and face it with love and are given the opportunity and take the opportunity to say, actually, I am choosing not to be critical of myself. I'm going to allow discernment in, but not the inner critic, because I'm learning, I'm growing, like whatever it takes to give yourself compassion. And as soon as you make that choice, as soon as you turn and face that inner demon and say, I know you're here to love me, to teach me what is the lesson, and then you accept it, it liberates those demons.
Mm.
So like all of that wouldn't have entered into my awareness with the depth and the conviction, I believe, without engaging on that symbolic painting level. These are not paintings that go on the wall or get, or get shown, posted wherever. This
Right.
is giving myself an opportunity to process whatever it is I'm, you know, dancing with on a
Sure.
symbolic level. And because those symbols are close to our subconscious, they get us to the heart quicker, sooner, faster. Right.
Yes. I love that so, so, so much. And um, do you want to touch on just a little bit of how we shift our relationship to our own creative spirit? And I
Yeah.
think you have an experience you can lead us on. Is that
Yes,
part
I
of
do.
that?
I do. I want to offer a symbol that is an activation in and of itself.
Great.
So if you have, looks like you all kind of have paper and pen, that's all you need. I'm going to show it to you first, and then I have my markers, and we'll draw it together. Um, the working with symbols is simply engaging with them. So we process, it's something like 85% of the millions of, data that we're receiving every second are processed visually.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see something like, oh, I'm seeing hummingbirds everywhere. Okay, not everyone is seeing hummingbirds everywhere, right? There's a reason. Or I'm seeing spirals everywhere. I'm seeing arrows everywhere. The reason you are picking up on that symbol is because there's a message for you. It is a way we're being guided. It's like your higher self can't interfere, but it's tossing you clues. It's tossing you little portals that when you engage with the symbol, you're able to receive. It's like changing the radio dial. We remember doing that, right? You
Mm-hmm.
change the radio dial, you get different programming. So
Right.
the symbols change the frequency, change what it is you're receiving, and open you up to a whole new awareness. Another way to do this is pulling a card, an oracle card,
Mm-hmm.
which I pulled two before this call, which if we have time, I'll share, because those can offer symbols. So you might pull a card and there's a part of that imagery that really speaks to you, or it's like, really, another lotus flower? I'm seeing those everywhere. Go to a journal, go to a scrap piece of paper, go to the canvas and start painting a lotus flower. And in the process, the lotus that is recognized as the most beautiful bloom that rises from the muckiest muck,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get insight into how the muck
Yeah.
in your life is actually there to help you to bloom.
Yeah.
And if we just kind of, oh, lotus is this, right? Like it only sinks in on a certain level. But when you sit down and draw the lotus and then observe your inner dialogue, like, oh, I suck at drawing. Oh, look at me, for way to go for engaging, on a visual level. It gives you an opportunity to listen to your creative spirit and what's blocking it, which my free gift is a whole journey on that. So you can explore that in the future. But so I want you to draw this symbol, and then I'll tell you the story quickly. So
Oh,
this
great.
is what we now affectionately refer to as the Freya knot, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But if you see, this is a heart, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just a normal heart like you would paint. And then you start at the crux here of this upright heart, and you draw another one where the tip of that first heart becomes the crux of that second. So it's like two hearts, one coming from above and one coming
Mm-hmm.
from below.
That's awesome.
Okay. So, and then this, one of my creatively fit coaches discovered this. If you just add another one, if you overlay two, you get the symbol for the electron
That's great.
at the foundation of everything. Anyway, I mean, the symbols just go and go and go. So here's a difference. And this is what I really want to ask you all to participate. You don't have to show it or share it or anything. When you actually draw this symbol, oh, I just lost my second marker. When you actually draw the symbol, it like moves closer. You engage with it so much more. And a lot of times you have to draw it a couple times. And that's because the symbol's like, oh no, you really want to get to know me on a deeper level. So here you go. We draw the heart. Doesn't have to be symmetrical or perfect. Look at mine. Right? And then you draw another one. So you start at this. What is that called? What is that?
The cleavage.
The cleavage. Right. It's always something. I think of like butt cheeks, like sitting on the ground. Anyway, so okay, we start at the cleavage and go here. Okay, so see how wonky? Doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
And when you can proudly show your wonky Freya knot, your inner critic has been liberated a little bit more.
That's great.
Okay, so I got to point out a couple of things about this symbol. So one, this, even though mine's a little silly, is a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing for me that I got from this symbol is that this, the hearts from above and below create this diamond space. The above and below, heaven and earth, light and matter. This is you. You are the union.
Right. That's beautiful. And you are a diamond.
And you are the diamond. I mean, this is the holy grail. I mean, even from way back, the holy grail that everyone's been seeking is your truest self. It's
Right.
the union of your human and your infinite self.
Right.
That's the treasure. And if you take out the heart, you take out the heart, you've just got this diamond, which could also be a box, which I like to think of as kind of a cage, because that's where the scarcity and the limitations and the sense of lack comes from when we're
Mm-hmm.
not tapping
Mm-hmm.
into the love from above and below.
Yeah, when we're feeling separate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the other cool thing. So this symbol came about during a workshop at a retreat that I was leading on 12/21/12.
Mm.
And there were me and two other ladies, and we were given some wiki sticks, those wax sticks, and asked to find a symbol, like create a symbol for our group. And even I I was already working with symbols at that time. Even I was like, oh, really? Like, okay. So anyway, we made hearts. I pushed them together, and we were all like, what? Where's the tattoo part? Because it was the two hearts, the diamond in the middle, and then you've got two infinity symbols.
Right.
You can
Oh,
also draw
yeah.
this shape exactly, drawing two infinity symbols.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
So
when we do
cool.
this meditation, which I do, well, I'll explain that in a second. When we do this meditation, we're grounding, charging, and then opening up to this like infinite source of love that's constantly being offered to us from above and below,
It's
right?
great. Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
just drawing this symbol, engaging with it, every time you look at it, it can be something different,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also these two ellipses, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which some of the COVID vaccines had the two band-aids. It was this
Oh,
symbol too.
oh, wow.
So in 2013, I was rebranding myself as Whitney Freya. I took the name Freya, it found me. I named myself. And I launched WhitneyFreya.com, a line of sacred symbol stencils. And the woman I was working with was like, we should find a sacred symbol for Freya. And we're like chatting on the phone or I don't know, something. She texted me a picture. She's like, this one's interesting. And it was like this.
Mm.
And on the screen, it said Freya's symbol. Like,
Found you.
seriously? So I'm just, these symbols, like, they guide you. And the more
Yeah.
you engage with them, the more you tap into that. And it gives you this incredible sense in knowing that we are being guided. Like you mentioned earlier, we're surrounded by our guardian angels. They're speaking to us symbolically, right? Mother
Yeah.
Earth, everything she does is symbolic. The shadow is the winter, it's the roots growing underneath the surface so that the plant, the tree, the tomatoes, whatever it is, can grow abundantly, right? It's the
Yeah.
darkness where we source our strength and our nutrition. And then
Yeah.
we bloom as a result. And we all know that. We can look back at some of the most challenging parts in our life, right? And
Yes.
recognize that had that not happened, dot to dot to dot, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And yeah, you're getting some love in the chat. That is really inspiring.
Yeah.
And Deanna writes that the diamond symbol in Hindu represents man and woman. So we're kind of getting back to that sacred feminine, sacred masculine, sacred union with
Yeah,
that symbol. Really,
exactly. And the diamond consciousness is being able to see things clearly,
right.
being able to understand that, our shadow is actually where we source our power, that what
Mm.
triggers us,
Yeah.
you get triggered. What triggers us are wounds or parts of you that are wanting to be reclaimed. Um,
Yes.
I have a powerful personal example really quick around triggers. So my dad is slightly quickly in dementia land, completely.
Mm.
Like it's pretty intense. But when I was visiting this winter and he, standing in the middle of the small condo, couldn't find the bathroom, can't find the kitchen, like completely dependent. And then still pulling this kind of patriarchal, like
Mm.
if we're gonna have ice cream, get it now. And I'm just like, like
Mhm.
you're ordering your wife around and you're like, and then I realized like, okay, Whitney, that's your stuff,
Yeah.
right? And we only give, like, hierarchy is the word that came up. He can only have hierarchy over me if I give it to him.
Mhm. Yeah.
So another little bit of my sovereign self came back,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So the things that trigger us, you send gratitude, because if we don't turn and recognize how is what they did, what he did,
Yeah.
how is that mirroring for me something that's wanting to be healed or brought into the
Absolutely.
light or loved?
Right.
And if we don't, again, only speaking from experience, until we do that, we'll keep creating for ourselves the opportunity.
Right.
So
Right.
those kinds of things keep triggering us, right?
Right.
So if
Exactly.
something keeps showing up or has always happened, why does this always happen to me? It's because we're being asked to look at it from a place of love.
Yeah. It's an invitation and an opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even if it's painful. Really painful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
Um,
probably the more painful it is, the more power is being offered, right?
Absolutely. 100%. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
100%.
I'd love to open up, and I can, lead us on a short meditation, but I'd love to open us up for each of you to receive a symbol or to open for a symbol. So there's no pressure to like receive the symbol right now, but I have no doubt that throughout the course of the day, whether it's a theme that gets repeated or just looking around your home, like looking around at the predominant color,
Yeah.
looking around at realizing like, oh, I've been wearing a lot of yellow lately, or I've been, attracted to purple lately. You look up the symbolism of colors,
Mhm.
flowers. If you have a favorite flower, if you have a flower or plant that grows abundantly in your yard, look up the symbology of that. You will be amazed. The elements, Mother Earth, the air, fire, water, earth, wood, metal, ether, above and below, those are all symbols. Landscapes, what part of the planet do you love? Beaches? Do you love mountains? Do you love rivers? That's all symbolic.
Yeah.
So getting to
Beautiful.
know yourself on this more multifaceted way. And the way I feel is it's like I go from this individual, like wearing the weight of the world on my shoulders, I got to figure this out, to like
Mm-hmm.
woven into the fabric of everything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not alone, and I can wait for the guidance, and I can trust. And all of that comes from balancing the logical, rational, linear, fear-based part of ourselves with the connected, loving, infinite, creative part of ourselves. We've simply like raised ourselves, like we've been conditioned in a way that
Right.
leaves us out of balance.
Absolutely.
Women's intuition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful.
And
So validate it first for ourselves, and then
yeah,
it ripples out.
absolutely. We're going to have to come back and do a round two of this because this is
Okay.
so good and juicy and
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
loved it. Your
Yes.
free gift is going to lead us through a lot of these things that you're talking about, right? It's called your magical creative awareness. I just
Yes.
dropped it in the chat, the whole description.
Oh, beautiful.
And to help you get in touch with your creativity and of course stay in touch with Whitney. And I wish we had more time.
Right?
I really, really do.
No, that's
This has
okay. It'll
been,
keep going. So you all will receive a symbol, and when you get
yeah,
it, just engage with it. You can draw it, you can Google it on your screen, make it a screensaver.
yeah,
Um, just open up to the message that you will receive from that symbol.
yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Anne.
And we will come back and do more because this is just scratching the surface. So thank you so much, Whitney. Just so appreciate you being here, and I appreciate our connection. And I just love the spin on creativity and soul purpose. Thank you, thank you. And if in case anyone has any questions, maybe you can stick around for a few minutes if anyone has a question for you, Whitney. Okay, all right, that's great. I'm going to stop recording so we can